Good afternoon and welcome to City Council meeting of September 8th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask that you all rise for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With flowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to our very own Tenille Towns for the singing of our national anthem and to the marketing department of the city of Grande Prairie for our images. I would now like to take the opportunity to read our land acknowledgement. The city respectfully acknowledges the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretakers of these lands and surrounding areas. We are grateful to live, learn, work, and play on Treaty 8 territory within Turtle Island and acknowledge that these lands have been home to diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations. Thank you for that opportunity. Move on to item number 4 on today's agenda. First one is a great news sort of item on today's agenda. The red tape reduction award presentation, and I am going to turn that over to someone for introduction. Okay, I'm going to invite our MLA Ron Weeb up, and you're going to introduce this. So please come forward, sir. When you're situated, your microphone's on. You can pull it closer to you, and welcome. Thanks for being here, and we'll allow you a little bit of time to introduce the award.
Well, there it is. There's the award, and so I just want to congratulate the city on this achievement. It's an honor, Mayor, to be here and to join you to present the City of Grande Prairie with the 2025 Minister's Award for Municipal and Public Library Excellence. These awards celebrate municipal excellence in Alberta. They also highlight projects that find new or interesting ways to streamline processes and enter creative community partnerships. The City of Grande Prairie is being recognized today in the red tape reduction service delivery enhancement category for the project that cut down the city's building permit application process. As part of this project, they took 3 separate applications, rolled them into one, and then moved the process from paper document to an electronic document. By changing this process, the city was able to save local businesses time and money and better improve accessibility to services they provide for the community. We live in a fast-paced environment and a fast-changing world where people value convenience. We all want services that are more efficient, responsive, and people-focused, whether it's from our local government here in the city or our provincial government. It makes growing our local economies much easier, and it makes investments to our region even more attractive. This change is a huge win for the City of Grande Prairie and everyone who calls the city home. So on behalf of Alberta's government and MLA Nolan Dick and myself, we congratulate the City of Grande Prairie for this award and everyone who contributed to this meaningful change. Thank you very much.
Well, Emily, we really appreciate you being here. I can tell you that the entire organization and council is very appreciative. It has been a priority of this council and the organization to find efficiencies. So it's great to be recognized for them, and we'd love to take a picture.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I'm on the short side of beauty. So.
Let's hold this.
Close enough.
You guys could squish a little bit more.
Squeeze in there. Stop it. No elbowing.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming, Ron. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to today's agenda, item number 5 under proclamations, a couple of them today. We're going to start with the Welcoming Week proclamation. So Welcoming Week is September 12th to 21st, 2025 in Grande Prairie. And the Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas the Welcoming Week is an annual campaign and celebration to showcase the movement of communities striving to be more welcoming for all. This year's theme, Stories We Share, calls on us to celebrate differences and spot what we have in common, building understanding through stories that connect us and make us stronger. And whereas new residents play a vital role in Grande Prairie by bringing fresh perspectives and ideas, starting businesses, and contributing to the vibrancy of our city. By listening and learning from one another, we shape what's next for our shared future. And whereas during Welcoming Week, residents are encouraged to join this movement, the movement of communities nationwide and worldwide, by embracing our shared commitment to building an inclusive and caring community, so that Grande Prairie continues to be a place where everyone feels at home. And whereas by recognizing the contribution of all who call Grande Prairie home, we affirm that regardless of where we are born, we are united in our efforts to build a stronger, more connected community. Now, therefore, I, Jackie Clayton, Mayor of the City of Grande Prairie, do hereby proclaim the week of September 1st to 12th to 21st as Welcoming Week in the City of Grande Prairie, and I urge everyone to join in building a stronger, more welcoming community through the stories we share. So thank you for that, and we do have some representatives here. I'm just going to sign this proclamation, and then if we could do a picture, that would be great. I got one more after this too. Come on, partner. Come on in, ladies. Squeeze in. You need to see it tighter or not? Awesome. I'll give you this. Yeah. Good to see you. Thank you. All right. Well, always, today's a day full of good news, so I'm going to continue on that. Moving to item 5.2 in today's agenda, the Rail Safety Week initiative. And so from the Office of the Mayor, the proclamation of Rail Safety Week. September 15th to September 21st, 2025. Whereas Rail Safety Week is being held across Canada from September 15th to 21st, 2025, and whereas 261 rail crossings and trespassing incidents occurred in Canada in 2024, resulting in 68 avoidable fatalities and 58 avoidable serious injuries. Whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that the railway right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, Indigenous communities, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. Whereas CN and Operation Lifesaver have requested that the city adopt this resolution in support of this ongoing effort to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including our own municipality. Now, therefore, I, Jackie Clayton, Mayor of the City of Grande Prairie, do hereby proclaim September 15th to 21st, 2025 as Rail Safety Week in the City of Grande Prairie. And I would say that I know we have done this for a few years now, and I really appreciate the support of CN for being here today, and so we'll do a picture. Thank you. That was a great start to today's meeting. I will now move. I apologize. There we go. That was a great start to today's meeting, and we're going to continue with the agenda, moving to item number 6, the adoption of the previous council minutes. And I will recognize Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I'd like to move council adopt the minutes of City Council meeting held August 25th as presented.
Thanks for that, Councillor O'Connor. That motion is in order, so I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving to item 7 of today's agenda, the adoption of the agenda, recognizing Councillor Blackmore.
I would move that council adopt the agenda with the addition of item 9.3, Smith's Lands, and item 11.1, correspondence, Grande Prairie Downtown Association.
Right, thank you for that motion. Seeing no one in the queue with comments or questions or concerns, I'll call the question. Please vote. And that too carries unanimously. Moving on to the delegation portion of today's meeting. There are no delegations, and I will let those who might be watching from home know that if you would like to speak to council, there's a very simple online form. When we are having an evening session, there's an option either for 3 p.m. delegation or a 6 p.m. delegation. Today, however, we are not having an evening session, and there were no delegations that let us know ahead of time that they were planning to come. So I will move to reports, item number 9. The first one being 9.1, the Alberta Community Partnership grant application. So I will look for introduction to that to Chief Lemieux, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'd like to introduce Jamie Hannaford, our GPREP manager, who will do a brief introduction of this report. I'm sure you've all read the report, and it's pretty straightforward, but there's some background information that Mr. Hannaford will provide for council.
Welcome, Mr. Hannaford. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Madam Mayor and councillors, thanks for having me today. Just wanted to give you some background on this grant application. As you have the report in front of you, I won't go through it in detail, but I will highlight a few things. To do that, I just want to take you back through some history with GPREP. As you know, in recent years, we've had quite a few activations for wildfire events. During those activations, one of the things we've recognized is the strain that puts on municipal staff and the ability to maintain our other business services while we're trying to deal with these large disaster events. We've taken quite a few steps to deal with some of those strains, and we've done 3 different things. And the first thing we've done is a casual staffing plan, and that's currently completed and in progress right now. And we staff that by going to previous members of GPREP, those that have experience in the area, and bring them back on in a casual staff capacity. The second thing that we do is we've reached out to industry partners and look for partnerships with them. And currently we're just in the process of finishing one of those partnerships with Pembina to help us during activations in our incident command post. And the last thing, and the reason I'm here to speak to you today, is about our volunteer management plan. During these activations, it's come to light that, we're just not engaging volunteers in the community in the way that we should be. Anything from spontaneous volunteers that come forward and are seeking to provide a hand, volunteers in the area that have equipment, such as farmers that want to come forward and help out and provide equipment in that capacity. And the last one is really building that with industry partners from an economic development capacity. What I'm asking to do here today is to pass a motion for a grant to hire a consulting firm to look into all these things and build out the best plan possible for GPREP to better utilize volunteers in our community in all 3 of those different areas. What I'm looking for is the motion to do the grant, and then also to have the City of Grande Prairie as the managing partner for that grant as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that presentation. I'll open up in case council has any questions. Recognizing Councillor Blackmore.
I don't have any questions, Mayor Clayton, but I, as a member of council who sits on this committee, I have to really give Mr. Hannaford a pat in the back, because we've seen some significant changes since he's taken on the role. And it's never easy coming in and being the brand new person on the block. So I think you've done really well. I can do the business if you like.
I do have a full queue of questions, so I will come back to you.
Thank you.
Councillor O'Connor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Clayton, and thank you, Mr. Hannaford. It's tremendous. It sounds like you've made some changes. Both Grant Berg and I sat on that committee in previous years, and we made a number of recommendations, and it sounds like that you've made some of those changes in regards to utilizing the people in the community that have the resources. And the only concern I have is, are they being trained to the specification? Because I know there were a couple of incidents where somebody just showed up with a cat and almost wiped out a fire crew. So I hope that has been dealt with. Can you confirm that for me?
Mr. Hannaford.
Thank you, Councillor. Through the chair. Yes, absolutely. That will be part of this for sure. One of the struggles, I think, historically is because we haven't done a good job at engaging volunteers, then you just get self-deployment of volunteers. And when that occurs, they're functioning in a capacity that's not in alignment with the work that we're doing. So through this project, that's one of the things I'll be looking at doing is, how do we engage those spontaneous volunteers or volunteers with equipment and utilize them under our command structure to make sure that it's done safely, that they're trained to the specifications that we would need them trained to as well.
Yeah, and the second point, Madam Mayor?
Sure, go for it.
The other concern that we had heard during the evacuation process, and people had trouble getting their CPAP machines and getting their medications and feeding their animals. So has that process of permitting been improved and get in there? And I know it takes away from the forces on the ground, but it was a huge concern for me at the time. I got phone calls and a few choice words thrown at me. So just wondering how that's been moving along.
Mr. Hannaford.
Thank you. Through the chair. Yes, we have. So in previous activations, we've taken huge leaps and bounds in how we do that permitting system. Certainly, there's always room for improvement, which we continuously do and look for those opportunities. We do have to balance, of course, public safety with that ability to get back in those areas. But in conjunction with our communication staff and then the call center here, we've definitely refined those permitting systems to be much more efficient than they have been previously.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear. Thank you.
Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton, and thank you very much for the work that you put into this, Mr. Hannaford. I really enjoyed the read going through it this morning, especially considering 23 and 24. Some of the most phone calls I received during, I guess what we're calling wildfire season now, used to be called summer, was volunteers that wanted to help out, that had equipment, and they felt kind of helpless, frustrated, anxious, because even though they were sitting there on the front lines, they were sent back home, and they couldn't protect their own property. So something like this is amazing because you're going to have a whole database of things to do. And how you're going to activate and what equipment you're going to need. My question is, as you socialize this, or the consultant, as they socialize this, will you be building a preemptive database of members in the community who are willing to help out and offer up their equipment or their skills in advance so that they're not showing up at the 11th hour when the fire's raging on our doorstep?
Mr. Hannaford.
Through the chair. Yes, absolutely. To answer your question, the consultant that we want to hire, and that's why we want to go to a consultant as well. It's such a large project that the ability to take that in-house under GPREP just wouldn't be, we wouldn't be able to do the scope of it. So through a consultant, we want them to go out to all 5 municipalities and then meet with all the stakeholders and then build the list based on that. And that would be the power behind it as well, as having a pre-registration list so that we actually know who's in the area at the time of need instead of, just trying to figure that out at the time of the disaster. So most definitely we're looking to build that capacity.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I didn't see it in the report, but I believe you 100%. And thanks for that, because that'll go a long way. I'm certain of it. Thank you.
Councillor Bressie.
Great. And then along with that list, are there any plans to pre-train people so they know protocols, et cetera, before we call on them for help?
Mr. Hannaford.
Thank you. Through the chair. Absolutely. I think there will have to be a baseline of training for sure. Anytime that we're going to engage any sort of public in an emergency activation, it's very important that they have a baseline set of skills. That's going to be varied depending on the type of response. So, for instance, spontaneous volunteers, that'll be a little bit different. We'll handle them in a much different capacity. That might be similar to like a registration center where they come, we'll give them a quick sort of safety briefing. And then from there, give them sort of tasks that are in alignment with what they're used to doing that wouldn't be in a high risk area. But when we actually look at formalized sort of partnerships, people operating with equipment, absolutely we'll be doing some baseline training with them as well.
Well, and I'd encourage you to think about even creating having a training program. It doesn't have to be long, just a couple hours long, but a training program for just general volunteers to show up so they understand how an emergency happens, where the lines of authority are, what processes go in, because I think it would really help with that orientation getting on. But also, every time a disaster happens, there's so much misinformation going around the community. And I do think even just if we had a few hundred people trained on just this is what's going on when a disaster happens, even if they never show up at the site, I think it could have some real benefits in terms of helping us get people doing what we need them to doing a disaster. Just a thought for you. And the last thought for you is, if you haven't already, I'd encourage you to talk to the Salvation Army. I know they do this, and my wife's actually one of their trained volunteers for their food truck, and she's been deployed to areas to spend a week cooking for people, and it's been a very fulfilling experience for her. And it's been great that she's been able to volunteer her time, but also they've got a really good program of she really felt equipped and well cared for and well trained before. So I'd encourage you to reach out to the Salvation Army if that's not already on the plan and pick their brain about how they're doing a great job of it.
Councillor Plott.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, and definitely happy to support this. Just to build off Councillor Bressy, so if I'm understanding right, there'll be a process from someone that wants to be a parking lot attendant to someone that's willing to put up his truck and his cat and everything to go out and strip land, and there'll be a formal process for each step in between for them on that. And then, so I guess for me, what I'm really excited about with this is as somebody was on GPrep for a while, the frustration that builds from people that want to help. I think this is an amazing opportunity to turn that frustration into something where they just want to be involved and help. And these events are expensive, so I think if we can implement people that can help reduce costs and maybe time, I'm all for that. So appreciate you bringing this forward.
Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Clayton. And yeah, this is something that I'll fully support. Again, having been on GPrep in the past, with each activation, I'd seen constant evolution and learning, and so I see that this is an extension of it. And from my time, one of the things that I had seen was around concern from farmers that had cattle or horses. Now you've got a list of cattle liners and horse trailers in the area that can get those animals out safely. Another one is I had somebody from the Red Cross reach out, how can we help? But at that time, there wasn't necessarily a plan because it was one of the first activations. And so now we know how to reach out to them and how to resource them and how to utilize their services. So great job to your team on the evolution, and thanks for bringing this forward for the next step.
Great. Go back to Councillor Blackmore for business arising.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I just have one quick question first. So when we, the city, put resources into a wildfire, that eventually we get reimbursed by the province. Is there a plan for your volunteer list who are producing or who are providing heavy equipment, for example, to get their fuel costs paid for eventually by the province? Just curious about that, how that would work.
Mr. Hanford.
Thank you. Through the chair. Absolutely. I mean, the idea to go to the consulting firm is to see what is actually being done out in the industry right now, look at some of those best practices, and look at those opportunities where we can support people that are coming forward and offering their services. I think that's certainly something that we can build into the plan, into the program as well.
Okay, thank you. I would move that council support the application for an Alberta Community Partnership Grant with the city as the managing partner for the purpose of retaining professional services to develop a regional volunteer management plan for Grande Prairie Regional Emergency Plan.
Great. Thanks for that, Councillor Blackmore. That motion is in order. I will give council a second to see that and call the question. Please vote. And that carries unanimous. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate the information and the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, councillors.
Moving on to item 9.2, grant application for the Forest Resource Improvement Association of Alberta. And I will turn this one over to Mr. Anderson, Mr. DeVries for introduction. And I apologize, Chief Lemieux, did you have anything to add before I turn it over to them? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Through the chair. Director DeVries and I are here today representing administration's request that council support the city grant application for the FRIA FireSmart program by seeking a motion from council as per the report. This grant application is for us to continue FireSmart work within the South Bear Creek corridor and continue north through the Muskogee Park and other potential areas that we have. In closing, we respectfully ask for council support in advancing our FireSmart efforts throughout the approval of this grant application. This funding will allow us to continue community risk reduction through the vegetation and fuel load management work within our city, ensuring the long-term safety of our residents. So thank you for your time and consideration. If you have any questions in regards to the motion or the report, we would be happy to answer them.
Perfect. Thanks for that introduction. Open it up to council with questions or concerns. Recognizing Councillor Blackmore.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. This is not the first time we've applied for this exact grant, and I think we've gotten it 2 years now. I'm curious how much or what percentage of the Muskosipi Park corridor we have completed fire smarting in, and if this will bring the project to completion.
Mr. DeVries.
Through the mayor. So far with the 2 grants within the stream that we've obtained, we've completed most of the work within the South Bear Creek Park area. This additional grant would allow us to move up the corridor towards the hospital site. And so it would allow us to move through those areas that remain, essentially through to the terminal end of the city lands in the north. Through Mayor Clayton, this scope will be completed, yeah.
Councillor Thiessen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor Clayton, and thanks for the work into this, gentleman. I really appreciated what you did with last year's Fire Smart program monies and helping not only keep our South River Valley safe, but also expanding the trail network, which really worked out. Yeah, it's a 2-for-1. I just had a question really largely about language. So in the report, it states a treatment area and that we're going to do certain treatment. Am I correct to assume that the treatment is just pulling dead logs, mowing grass that's extra long, stuff like that along the perimeter, or widening trails as well as we did last time, or is it something more?
Mr. DeVries.
Yeah, through Mayor Clayton, for this grant specifically, it would be primarily, as you mentioned, the removal of dead and down woody materials through the park corridor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and the only reason why I ask is sometimes when we say treatment, it means the application of something else onto that. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all riding the same language. So thank you very much.
Councillor Plott.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. Yeah, it looks pretty amazing out at South Bear, the areas that have been done. It's quite a game changer when you walk out there now from those areas. So looking forward to getting this through. Just curious in the report, though, it says it requires $200,000 that can be either gift in kind or financial. But I don't know what ours is. Are we doing gift in kind or is it $200,000 coming from a fund? I wasn't sure on that one. I guess that's more for administration or presenters, so sorry.
Chief Lemieux.
I could help answer that question. So normally with the FRIA grants, they're looking for the municipality or the applicant to put in some gift in kind. Very often that's our management time or administrative time. So that's what they're looking for.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks for the clarification.
Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Clayton. And thank you, gentlemen. Just more curious than anything. I did Google part of it. 6.3 hectares is 17 acres. With this grant, is this, for Mr. DeVries, is this for new staff or are we currently, or would we use existing park staff?
Mr. DeVries.
Through Mayor Clayton, the grants we've used so far with the vegetation management treatment are all through contracted services. So essentially we use the grant, we put out an RFQ, and retain contracted services for the field work. Yeah.
Great, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you very much. So when they're all done their job of cleaning up, what's left on the ground? Do we have any branches or any tree stumps, or is it leaves and pine needles and stuff like that? Is that going to be left?
Yeah, through Mayor Clayton, when we work with the representatives from FRIA, there's different methods, and as Councillor Thiessen alluded, there's different treatment types. And so for the work that's been done so far, they essentially use mulching equipment to mulch the materials on site. And that's acceptable under the Fire Smart program, so long as it's not deeper than 15 centimeters in depth on the forest floor. So that's been the method that's been used so far. As we move into these areas, working ourselves north in the Bear Creek corridor, the removal of dead and down wouldn't leave too much materials behind, as they would be removed.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. My concern is, and from residents, are concerned about the Crystal Lake area and that group of bush that's there, and there's a high risk of fire there, and so I've had people concerned. Will that be considered part of your work to do that and to thin that area out?
Through Mayor Clayton, yeah. So the priority's always been to move from the highest risk area, of course, being South Bear Creek, and working ourselves north through the corridor and then into these additional areas. So we are looking at mapping for Crystal Lake. O'Brien Lake is another one that's been being looked at as well. It basically comes back to how far we can work within the dollar amount of the grant. Yeah.
Okay. Our neighbors up in that area would really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Just before I go to Councillor Thiessen, would you be able to share by email that map with council out of curiosity once it's completed? Yeah, just be valuable information as residents have conversations with council around fire smarting. It'd be valuable to know potentially when and where the work is being done. Thanks. Councillor Thiessen.
I'm prepared to do business if there's no other questions in the
I
queue.
had one other question and then I'll go to you.
Go to town.
I'm assuming, as you mentioned, the dead and down, it's primarily or exclusively the removal of trees?
Through Mayor Clayton, yes. Primarily the woody debris that's dead and down
So,
material.
Not naturalization areas that we've chose to grow longer?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Thiessen.
That's just a pilot project, Mayor Clayton. Anyways, that's for next council to debate. But we can discuss and debate this, and I would move that council support the city's Forest Resource Improvement Association of Alberta FRIA grant application with the following motion. The council is committed to support the City of Grande Prairie's grant application for vegetation management under the Forest Resource Improvement Association's Fire Smart program.
Great, thanks for that, Councillor Thiessen. That motion is in order. Seeing no one in the queue with discussion or debate, I'll call the question.
Plot in favor.
And that carries unanimously. Thank you for your time and your presentation today. Moving on to item 9.3, the Smith lands. With a verbal update, I'll turn it over to CAO Burke.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. This is a brief update and request from council for a motion to support some activity that the administration's conducting. As you recall, the city contributed land to Smith Social for a 160-unit mixed income apartment complex multifamily that included 30% affordable. Work has begun on that project, and as you can see, there is work. Dirt has been moved and some concrete has been poured. As that project's advancing, the proponent, Smith Social, is finalizing their private third-party financing terms that require small amendments to the agreements we have in place. Those agreements, in my authority, was approved by council. They require some small changes that don't impact the overall objectives of the project, which are for multifamily units that include affordable, but they are beyond what I currently have approved by council. So I would be requesting that council direct administration to execute agreements to the satisfaction of the city manager in support of the updated third-party private financing requirements of Smith Social Enterprises in respect of the 160-unit mixed-income residential development in the Smith subdivision. This would allow that project to complete their third-party financing and for us to ensure that that project is successful. It requires no other commitments from the city, and there's no financing from the city. This is all third-party private sector.
Thanks for that introduction. Opportunity for questions from council. Recognizing Councillor O'Connor.
Yes, if there's no other questions in the queue, I'll do business whenever.
I see no one else in the queue, so go ahead, Councillor O'Connor.
I'd like to move council direct administration to execute agreements to the satisfaction of the city manager in support of the updated third-party private funds financing requirements of Smith Social Enterprises in respect of the 160-unit mixed-income residential development in the Smith subdivision. And say that 3 times fast.
Great, thanks for that motion. The motion is in order. Seeing no one else in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving on to committee business. Item 10.1, the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting held September 2nd. And I'll turn this one over to Councillor Thiessen for introduction.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. I would move that Council approve the minutes of the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting held Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 at this meeting.
Great, thanks for that motion. That motion is in order. Call the question. Please vote. Carries unanimously. A couple of highlights for your meeting, Councillor Thiessen.
You bet. Thanks, Mayor Clayton. Just no business to attend to, but we got business coming forward. However, at the committee meeting, we received a presentation from Director Tammy Wenzel of Housing and Community Development on how the city's housing and homeless system works and how we fit in with everybody else in that ball field. We also got an update on feral rabbits, and committee sent that back to administration to produce amendments to the municipal bylaw to prohibit the release of mammals, fish, reptiles, including rabbits, into public spaces. So committee will be seeing that sometime in the future, maybe the next council. We also got updates from the Grande Prairie Police Commission and the Grande Prairie Police Committee and the RCMP. In news around the city, we just closed down all our summer camps here for the season. We achieved about 86% occupancy throughout the summer season, which was a total of 1,305 campers that were able to be there for the summer with us, which is great. Of course, we always hope for 100%, but 86% is still pretty darn good. We also, of course, I think everyone was there, but we hosted the Experience GP event in downtown Grande Prairie, which was a sensational event. I had friends in from out of town, and they were blown away that we would produce such an awesome event for our community and free of charge. So they left not only happy with seeing Grande Prairie, but happy with the extra concert, and big props to all of our staff, because I know it took people from every single department in order to pull that off and to make it so special. So thank you to everybody in the City of Grande Prairie organization and our extra volunteers for making that extra special. And finally, we saw it here today, and we gave the big proclamation, but the Grande Prairie Local Immigration Partnership is pleased to be hosting 3 free community movie nights to celebrate diversity and the power of storytelling. The Farewell will debut at September 12th at the Grande Prairie Public Library. They also are showing Capernaum on September 13th at the Grande Prairie Live Theatre, and the movie Coco, there for all members of the family, September 20th at the Grand Sunset. For anyone interested, admission is free, and I hope you get a chance to go check those out. That's my report. Thanks so much.
Thanks for that, Councillor Thiessen. Moving on to item 10.2, the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting on September 2nd. I'll turn this one over to Councillor Berg for introduction.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I would like to move council adopt the minutes of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting held September 2nd as presented.
Thanks for that. That motion is in order. Call the question. Please vote. Great, and that's carried unanimously. Moving on, Councillor Berg, any meeting updates?
Yes, we had Ms. Nesta Bowen, Acting Chief Financial Officer, and included in her report, Financial Management Administration continues to prepare the 2026 budget for deliberations in November. Also, taxation and assessment, 6% penalty was levied last week, September 1st, on properties with outstanding taxes. The collection process continues. Over in procurement and supply management, following bids are open. Aggregate crushing program, as we just heard, fire smart vegetation management, dress uniforms for GPPS, facility rooftop snow removal services, and vehicle presence detection system, and geographical and information technology services. Administration has released a new city population dashboard with the latest municipal census data, which can be found on the city's website. And that's my report.
Thanks for that, Councillor Berg. Moving on to item 10.3, the Operational Services Committee meeting held September 2nd. And I'll turn that one over to Councillor Plott for introduction.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. Excuse me, we had one item of business. So I just make a motion that council refer $70,000 in funding.
Sorry, let's just take the minutes first.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's all right.
I really wanted to get to business there. Sorry, my first motion would be that council support the minutes of the Operational Services Committee meeting held September 2nd as presented.
Thanks for that. That motion is in order, so I'll call the question to receive those minutes as presented. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Now, Councillor Plot, some business arising.
Thanks. I was excited about this one, but a little bit too much. I just make a motion that council refer $70,000 in funding for the preliminary design of paving from 101st Street, from 124th Ave to 132nd Ave, and 128th Ave from 101st Street to 100th Street to the 2026 fall budget deliberations. And just to speak, this is, I think, the last piece of gravel that we have left in Grande Prairie that we haven't either worked on towards our capital funding or at least engineering work to be done. There's several businesses in this area that have reached out. And so I'd like to get the engineering at least done for them, get this to budget. Hopefully the council can approve it to get it approved, and then start looking at getting this paved some time in the near future after that. So that's my motion. Hopefully you can support that, please.
Thanks for that. That motion is in order. Opportunity for questions for administration or discussion and debate. Recognizing Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Clayton. Out of absolute coincidence, I'd received a phone call after our committee meetings from a business not too far away, and they sell motorcycles. And what their concern was is that 128th Avenue stretch, as people head east, would drag gravel onto the intersection. And they actually had one of their bikes out for a test drive, and it laid down as it hit that gravel. So they just wanted to express their concern. And when I told them that this was actually a conversation in committee and was coming to council, they were quite grateful and look forward to some progress on this.
Great. I just wanted to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Plot, was there not a conversation around, and I just don't see it in the motion, that's why I'm asking, around having conversations with funding opportunities?
I think that was discussed, Mayor Clayton, but I think it was more of an administration. It's probably a next council decision, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'd be happy to ideally have this design work come and then look at funding opportunities. I just don't know if we need the report first.
Chief Glavin, is there, tell me your thought in regards to, so the conversation comes to budget deliberations for design work, but if there's not subsequent conversations on funding, is there any point doing the design work?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Clayton. So what the 70,000 will do is get it to 30% design, which will get us the cost estimates for what it will cost to construct the road.
And then the council can make a decision from there whether or not to continue with conversations on funding models.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Clayton. So as far as funding models go, so historically these types of things have been done through a local improvement. This area has been subject to a couple that haven't had sufficient support from adjacent landowners. So as far as the funding model goes, it would be a matter of decision of, does this go forward as a local improvement? Is this a cost sharing exercise or something to that effect? But that would happen likely, it wouldn't happen at this budget deliberation. It would be a future budget item.
You know what the approximate cost estimates are.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Councillor O'Connor.
Yes, just to reiterate, would this design include the area east of 100th Street? And that area, because that's the second area that isn't. Is it on the map?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure of that.
Well,
Keddies?
sorry, I guess look at the map and make sure that's what you're talking. It's an attachment in your document. There's the report and then there's a map. Does that address the area you were talking about?
We're already doing that.
Chief Glavin.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Just for general information, there are 3 different projects that have been discussed by this council over the last year. So we have 2 that have already got to 30%. One being perhaps what Councillor Khan is referring to, east of 100th Street, which would be 99th Street, and I think there's another avenue over there. And then as well as the gravel roads by the Eco Center. Both of those, we have the cost estimates. We will bring those to budget as budget referrals, and they can be debated there for funding.
Oh, that is perfect. Thank you. That's exactly what. Thank you.
Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Please vote. And that carries unanimously. Any highlights for your meeting, Councillor Palat?
Yeah, Mayor Clayton. It was mostly a verbal update. We had that discussion, and we had a verbal update from Chief Glavin. So we had under engineering and transportation services, we have active construction sites include reconstruction of 123rd Ave from Crystal Ridge Road to 97B Street. We're doing a full depth reclamation of 97B Street from 123rd Ave to 128th Ave. And we're doing overlay of 90th Street to 90th Street from 64th Ave to 67th Ave. Under core facility management's Eastlink Aquatic Center shutdown is underway until October 5th. The concrete is scheduled to be poured this week at the Design Works Center paving stone remediation. The Center 2000 paving stone remediation is underway. Brickwork has been removed and the sundial clock hands repaired. Asphalt installed and saw to be laid shortly. And that's my report.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Councillor Plott, moving on to item 10.4, the Investment and Strategy Committee meeting held September 2nd. And I'll turn this one over to Councillor Bressie for introduction.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I'd move that Council adopt the minutes of the Investment and Strategy Committee meeting held September 2nd as presented.
Thanks for that. That motion is in order. Seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving, Councillor Bressie, any business that is arising? It looks like you have two items of business today.
Yes, please. I'd move that Council approve funding allocations as presented in Appendix A.
Do you wish to give a little bit of background?
Oh, yes, of course. There are two types of funding in this. Most of the grants being suggested here are Pursuit of Excellence funding, which goes towards athletes and coaches, both for travel and for development. And it's coming out of legacy funding from the 95 Winter Games. So it's not actually tax funded, but it's money that we're responsible for. And then we've also got some sport tourism grants in there to support events in our community that draw people to our region. So we can show off our community, encourage them to maybe move here or invest here or visit again someday, but also allowing our athletes to have a local athletic experience without having to go down the long highway down south. So I think that these are both worthy types of grants, and I hope that Council will support them.
Perfect. Thanks for that introduction. Comments, questions? Seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Councillor Bressie had one other item of business.
Yeah, I'd move the Council receive the 2022-2025 Strategic Priorities Quarter 2 2025 Progress Update for information. And just speak this briefly. This is a quarterly update that we get, but this is the last one that this Council will be receiving, and I'd encourage members of the public to check it out. It's a report card of what we've gotten, of what we set out to do this term, and it's an honest report card because the vast majority of things are done or substantially complete, but there also are things in there that aren't complete or they are paused, and so it's a pretty honest evaluation at what we hope to do and what we got done, and I'm really proud of it. Holy smokes, there's a lot of work there. We were an aggressive, hardworking council, but even more than that, we have an incredibly hardworking, talented administration who really did support a huge amount of work over the last 4 years. So I'm personally very proud of this report card, and I hope that Council will accept it.
Thanks for that motion, Councillor Bressie. Seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Any highlights for your meeting, Councillor Bressie?
What I'll highlight is we did have a presentation for the library talking about about their budget asks for the upcoming year. And on the operating side, really good news. They asked for a 0% increase. They recognized that municipal budgets are strained these days, and they've been able to find efficiencies and just get smoother at how they're operating, so they're able to continue doing what they're doing without an increase even for inflation. So good job, kudos to them, and really appreciate their hard work finding savings in their budget where they can, because I know observationally they're actually adding some hours and adding services, and it's not like they're pulling back to do that. So really proud of the staff and the volunteers we have there for that. And then they also had a capital ask that we referred to budget deliberations, so council will consider it in November, but it's to do a pop-up library in the Eastlink Center to make library services more accessible to our residents. So it's an exciting project that I look forward to hearing whether or not council supports it in November.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Councillor Bressie. Appreciate the update. Moving on to today's agenda, no delegation business and no notices. I jumped ahead, my apologies. Number 11 on today's agenda, under correspondence. There is in your package, Council, a letter from the Downtown Association indicating of a interim representative to the board, and this was in place because it's in the middle of their term and their association AGM doesn't come up till the winter. So the information is there, and looking for business arising. I'll turn it over to Councillor Plott as our council representative on the DTA.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. Great job on the intro. Yeah, that was exactly what was discussed, is we had kind of a vacant spot that we wanted to fill for the rest of the term, and so that's why it isn't a full year. Happy to say we did have several people apply, which was good to see, and happy to support that the motion that was put forward from the DTA, and then I'll move here today that council appoint Lisa Delariche to the Grande Prairie Downtown Association Board for a term ending March 1st, 2026.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Councillor Plott. Seeing no one in the queue, I'll call the question. And that carries unanimously. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, delegation business, and as I mentioned, there was none. No notices of motion. We are not having a recess today. I will now go to council member reports, and I'll start with Councillor Plott.
Thanks, Mayor Clayton. I'll just highlight some that I had done quickly, and then I'll explain or talk a little bit more length on a few. Attended a couple chamber ribbon cuttings for, I guess, Green's Bakery, as well as the knife store. Experience GP was in a great event. Lots of council members were in attendance. A beautiful night. The Step and Stride event was a great, well attended. My first time at Muskosipi. We had a regional ICC meeting with Councillor Bressie and Mayor Clayton, myself. And then I went to the Cheers for 50 years at the Teresa Sargent Hall, and that is an amazing facility when we have the right events in it. It was a great evening, and it was nice to see the patio open outside. That's not often that I've been at events that's been open, an option. Attended the Reading University Golf Tournament, which is always a great event, and this year was even a little bit more special for me, as I just had a niece that graduated that this year and talked highly of the program, which wasn't surprised at all, and want to thank the Side family for all their work and all the volunteers that go into just making that a success. Of I think it was 195 grads again this year, so great story for them. And under the Downtown Association, we had our monthly meeting. We're in a very healthy financial situation, so we're actually putting together, looking at doing a strategic plan later this month. And again, I want to invite Lisa Dahl to the board now as well. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for that, Councillor Plott. I'll go to Councillor O'Connor next.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Went to a city meeting with Grande Prairie Police Service with Councillor Rant. Had his farewell, and good luck on your new role at the county. We did the ribbon cutting at Grains, and that was very well attended by the chamber. Went to the Manvan Mobile Health Clinic for Prostate put on at Brogan and Blue Cross, and that was well attended. Chamber mixer at the AC Custom Knives, and then Experience GP was one of the most exciting and vibrant. They absolutely rocked the over 5,000 people that were there. I don't know what the exact count is, but I'll tell you what, it had me, the Trews and the Brass Tactics had me up and dancing, and with my bad hip, I didn't care. And so I just gave her, and the only concern that I had is that in the afternoon it was way too hot for people. So I like to suggest that we have misters so people can cool off, and also a little kiddies area where there's a little pool and they could cool down. I think that would have made a better experience. And then before I forget, and I have a couple other items, I just want to let you know that the food bank, the Salvation Army's food bank, is this Thursday, and they're very short of teams right now, and like to give a shout out. All you need, the truck and 4 different people to come and walk the doors and collect food. So if you could do that, they need, I think, over 70 more teams. So that's a lot of people. So I hope you can come out. And then went to Northwestern Polytech, the grand opening of the Spartan construction. This is a mind-blowing. I did not believe how complex this was. If you had a chance to do a tour, it is You have no idea what's in those walls. You'd think it's just classrooms. It's a little bit more than that. So I very encourage you to go there. And of course, the art gallery's 50 Cheers for 50 Years was spectacular, very enjoyable, and I loved the way it was decorated and handled. And then the Stepper Stride annual push for Parkinson's. So that was a great event. Thank you, and that's my report.
Thanks, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Bressie.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Was it a lot of these events? Really want to echo congratulations to NWP on their trades program, to the Art Gallery on the 55th anniversary, and an awesome event they had. Experience GP, all of our staff and sponsors. Just want to echo those kudos. One thing that I did get to attend that others weren't at was we had a luncheon for the physician recruitment and retention ambassadors. And as a member of our task force, I got to attend that in the stead of Mayor Clayton and got to sit down with our ambassadors and listen to a bit of their orientation, talk to them about why they're doing what they're doing, and very diverse personalities in that room with diverse experiences, but all with a real passion for taking great care of medical professionals and their families in recognition that they do a really hard job, but also in recognition that they're really important to our community. So I was really encouraged to see how that program's coming along and glad I got to be part of that lunch.
Thanks for that, Councillor Bressie. Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. It's funny because I'm going to contradict Councillor O'Connor because with Experience GP, I wanted to thank the staff member that booked the weather because it was absolutely perfect. I didn't need a kiddie pool. I just enjoyed the day. But thanks for the offer. NWP Spartan Controls, Industrial Automation and Innovation Lab. It's great to see NWP partnering with industry and the community on an amazing project. I honestly don't think that without the industry participation, this would be the center that it is. I did attend the Grande Prairie Friendship Center AGM, and congratulations to new president, Lois Duke. But also a sincere thank you to Len Auger, who was the previous president but remains on the board. And Saturday was a busy day. Again, another hot day. I think it was 27, but attended the Touch a Truck, the Renaissance Fair, which was something that I actually hadn't even heard of before in advance. But it's events like this that people bring to the community and just add a certain special spice. And maybe not necessarily my thing, although I did enjoy it. Everyone that was there in costumes, and they went all out in their costumes. Good time had by all. And then with the Art Gallery of Grande Prairie, 50th anniversary, I was fortunate to sit on the board for 5 years, so 10%, and also as chair. So place has a special place in my heart, and love being part of that history. So congratulations to all past board members and chairs for helping build such a wonderful institution. So thank you, and that's my report.
Thanks for that, Councillor Berg. Councillor Blackmore, rather.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I did attend the stakeholder meeting that we had with the Grande Prairie Police Service Commission and their leadership team. I was really sad that I missed Experience GP as I was out of town for a friend's birthday. I was mostly really disappointed to miss the Trews because I thought that they would be awesome, and I heard that they were, in fact, awesome. I attended the grand opening of Spartan Controls Northwestern Center for Industrial Automation and Innovation Lab, a new power engineering lab at Northwest Polytechnic, and quite an amazing array of pipes going in all directions. I was at the Reading University Golf Tournament. Want to congratulate Mayor Clayton for the ladies closest to the pin, although just secretly, she was really far from the pin.
I attest I was.
Really far.
Still was better than all the other attempts.
This is true. I didn't come even close to the green. I really enjoy that day. It's a different format for a golf tournament, and you're just there to enjoy yourself and have fun. And the side girls do such a great job of the Reading University and fundraising for the Reading University. I attended the art gallery of Grande Prairie 50 Cheers for 50 Years, as Ben mentioned. Their theme for the event was a 70s theme. And just because I like to keep everybody up to date with these things, the patterns on the tablecloths that they used come from an Italian design house, actually in the late 60s. They weren't 70s. And the Italian design house was Marimekko. So very, very classic designs on those tables. And then we don't usually do this, but there are some events coming up that I just kind of want to give a shout out for. The Wapiti Dorm is holding a fundraiser on September 19th. The EMS Wine Fair, which is, I think, their 25th annual wine fair, is on September 25th. And the Resource Center for Suicide Prevention Chair Extraordinaire is the next day, September 26th. And I know all of those nonprofit organizations really need our support as a community. So if you have the time and can make any of those events, that would be pretty terrific. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Councillor Blackmore. Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. I also experienced the Grande Prairie Grande Prairie Day. It was very warm. I enjoyed the weather. I also enjoyed the shade, and there was lots of kids playing sports and games in the middle of the street. There was a lot of tents that were set up and umbrellas. I enjoyed it very well. I also had friends from Kelowna come down, and we spent the evening towards the back where the food trucks were, and we had great conversations, and it wasn't too loud. I attended Safety City to celebrate Inclusion Alberta. It was a great warm feeling to see so many people, and I had people reach out to me, and I also reached out to them, so that was great. Grand opening of the Spartan Controls, nothing in my mind says this is about time, and it's going to be great for even the people that put money in, like Spartan Controls, and supported this. This is going to be good for the future of the Peace Country. No need to go to Calgary or Edmonton to get your training. And it's up to date, modernized lab, so it's really good to see. I met with a promoter for the fundraiser event that the Combative Sports Commission is looking into. And I also had a meeting with the Alberta Bilingual Municipalities Association. It was an executive meeting. GPPS finance meeting. I went to the intermunicipal meeting the town of Wembley hosted at the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum. Also, open house was held this last weekend of Barta Equipment. These are people that have been in business for 28 years, and they just thought that they should get in on some of these open houses. Great, they got a new line of equipment out there as well, so I worked for them for many years. I attended the Touch a Truck event, huge success with some different types of trucks. We had tow trucks this year, a wireline truck, a vac truck. And the gentleman that had the vac truck, he applied right at the last minute because he didn't know anything about it. He found out about it. And then he said, hey, I've got people that I know that I should support. And so this year he brought his tractor down truck, and it was really heartwarming for him to participate. And he's going to be here next year one way or the other. And yes, not only did we have trucks, we had a tractor, so good. I did miss the Zamboni, though, just letting people know that. I checked out the farmer's market. My wife did. I was just behind her, and I was holding the bags of stuff that she bought. I went to the art gallery, Grande Prairie, 50 Cheers for 50 Years. Excellent event. And all I got to say is that venue really worked out well. It got a little warm in there. You opened up the patio when people went out there. It wasn't too loud, wasn't too quiet. It was just right. I also attended the Step and Stride annual walk for Parkinson's. I walked, my wife and I walked for Janet and Paul and Ken and Dawn. longtime friends. And I also did a meeting with the D Company Armories Foundation. Some other stuff here that I think we got. I brought greetings on behalf of the mayor to the new and second store of Grains Bread Bakery Cafe, the only one with a drive-through. And I also went to Brogan Safety. I went to see the man van a few years ago at the, what was it now? Energy show out at Evergreen Park. I got checked for prostate cancer, and I was good. And so I felt that I was need to go back. I think it's a pretty no pain, but lots of gain. And it's Canada's only mobile health center for this purpose. And I also attended the Chamber After 5 business mixer at AZ Custom Knives. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Councillor O'Toole. Councillor Thiessen.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor Clayton. Yeah, I've attended most, if not all, the events that have already been detailed here. I do want to send out a couple shout outs. I know Councillor Blackmore just left, but she said she was excited to see the Trues. Well, she also missed the Trues debuting live their brand new single Manifest right here in Grande Prairie. So that was a nice little cherry on top for the 5,000 people that showed up for Experience GP. Also attended the intermunicipal meeting out at the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum. It was really great to get together with our colleagues from around the region and have a little send-off, a bunch of hugs, and who knows if we'll all be back around the table. I know some of us declared, but it was nice to have that last touch point with all of our colleagues around the region. Also attended the Step and Stride, and I've been doing Step and Stride now for, I mentioned to Councillor Platt at the event, it's been 12 out of 13 years that I've attended this event, and this year it was probably the busiest Step and Stride event I've ever seen. The walk looked like it had well over 150 people, maybe even over 200 people for that event, which is great, and maybe it had something to do with them hosting in the afternoon versus the 11 o'clock a.m. in the morning walk, but it was really, really great. I also got to take in Alberta Day down at Muskosipi Park and watch some musicians play, have some food at the food trucks, and play some games. And I was able to take in with friends and family the free facility access on the City of Grande Prairie's Alberta Day, which was the day before, or 2 days before the actual Alberta Day. But it was really, really great to be able to have that type of access. Mind you, the Lazy River was shut down and will be for a little bit, but it was still good to get out into the pool there. And with that being said, I don't think I have anything else on my list. So, Mayor Clayton, I'm going to hand it over to you, or I'm going to get redundant here. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for that, Councillor Thiessen. Most of the events I went to have been mentioned, but I will go through a couple. I had the opportunity to have a meeting with Minister LaGrange in Edmonton to talk about healthcare priorities of the region and our community, to give an update on the Masqua Medical Project as well, to have conversations about the future of the Northern Alberta Medical Program. So it was a good meeting with Minister LaGrange, and I appreciate her taking the time for that conversation. Also met with the Chief of Staffs of Environment and Parks, Transportation, and Jobs, Economy, and Trade. So it was a good day of meetings at the legislature, advocating for the needs of our city and our region, talking about advocacy priorities of this council, and providing an update as there's the fall session will start in later October for the provincial government. While I was there, I also had the opportunity to present and meet the Northern Alberta Medical Program students. So I was out on campus at U of A during their orientation week, talking to them about coming to Grande Prairie and really preparing them for the festivities and the event the following week. And I tell you, the energy in that room for those 30 individuals who now are in Grande Prairie training to be healthcare professionals was something else. And so that following week was an extremely busy week as we really launched a new chapter of healthcare and medical education in our region, being the first to the table with that partnership between Northwest Polytech and U of A is something that the entire region, this community, healthcare organizations, in particular Northwest Polytech and U of A, should all be very proud of. That is something else to think that doctors are being trained in our backyard, in our region, and who will be specifically focused on working in rural areas in northern Alberta. Quite a coup. I know that the southern implementation of it will happen next year. So to be first to the table, to be seeing that come to fruition was quite a day. Also had the opportunity to, with support from our administration, tour an individual who was doing, from a representative from Diversity Magazine, who was really doing a tour of Grande Prairie to highlight the opportunities and reasons that it's a great place to live. And so spent some time with him. And as mentioned by many of my colleagues, Experienced GP, the 4th annual, it was, I would say there was close to 5,000 people there. When I had the opportunity to bring greetings looking on the stage, that street was packed from the front of the stage all the way down the block, and it was a good feeling there. People were happy. It was generally something that I heard continually from people who were like, well done, City of Grande Prairie, for putting this free opportunity, all ages, and community residents that I heard from were very proud of the work that the City of Grande Prairie had done to do that event. That following week, as I mentioned, not only had the Northern Alberta Medical Program students introduction into to the local campus, also had the opportunity to bring greetings on behalf of the city at the Spartan Controls Industrial Automation and Innovation Labs. And as mentioned by my colleagues, the tour of that facility was exceptional. Seeing that firsthand, really job site within the walls of Northwest Polytech, and seeing the support of the province of over $11 million in an investment into our post-secondary institution is something that will be valuable for youth and industry for many years to come. And the important significance, I think, in particular of that project is the collaboration not only between levels of government and post-secondary institution, but the private industry embracing that. And as you walk through the lab and the workplace studios, you will see the support from industry. The names on the equipment and on the walls just goes to show the value of this region and educating youth here to stay here and to support industry needs. So kudos again to Northwest Polytech. Thank you to the province of Alberta for supporting that. And in particular, thank you to industry for seeing the continued value of this region and supporting our youth in the future. As mentioned, attended the Reading University fundraiser golf tournament, and that event continues to grow and support the needs of our youth, and really kudos to those who run that organization and really support the needs of our youth in the region. The intermunicipal meeting with our colleagues from around the region, as mentioned, was an opportunity to say goodbye to some who have chosen to not run in the next election, and thank them for the work that they've done. And it was great to get an update from things that are happening across the region. Attended with my colleagues the Grande Prairie Art Gallery 50 Cheers for 50 years. And as I often have the opportunity to speak about the benefits of living in this region, knowing that that art gallery is the second largest public art gallery in Alberta is something that we continue to be very proud of. But think of the history of that organization and many people that have supported it over the years. That institution continues to be a leader in culture. So thank you for their work and the work that the board and administration do to provide that cultural experience. Attended the Touch a Truck and had the opportunity to speak to many of the industry leaders who were there, and speaking to some of them. They're just so happy to come out and not only support Special Olympics, but provide that opportunity for youth in our region, and in particular young children, to climb on that equipment, honk the horns. I could hear the horns all over town. They are nonstop all day. But whether you're climbing on a bus or climbing on a rock truck or climbing in the new piece of snow removal equipment, I don't know those who are there, but we have a new piece of equipment that will chop up those windrows, and it's quite something. People who are into equipment were quite impressed with it. So it was a great day, and really something that is a great event and something that I know the community really appreciated. And last but not least, attended the Parkinson Step and Stride was there to not only support it because it's a great community initiative, but support it for my granny who had Parkinson's. So with that, thank you all for being here. Thank you for another great meeting, and we'll see you again soon. Meeting adjourned.